My name is Kristina, and I want to introduce someone to you. Her name is Sally. She's always busy, always trying to keep up. Because she has so much going on. She wants to achieve a lot in life. Perfect grades, a perfect body shape, a flawless routine, a life where nothing ever falls behind. These high standards are organized on her to-do list every single day. It looks clean, organized, and impressive. But here's the question. How confident do you think she really feels? To answer this, let's look at an example from her life. Last year, she signed up for an academic competition. Before it even began, she made a promise to herself. She had to win the first prize. I remember the way she told me how desperately she wanted to win. Not just do well, not just try her best, but to win. The competition was in December. She had 5 whole months to prepare. Plenty of time. She believed that in order to succeed, every step has to be perfect, including herself. She needed to understand every concept, cover every detail, and make absolutely no mistakes. More than anything else, she wanted to be perfect. And that desire became a pressure she couldn't escape. The more perfect everything had to be, and the more perfect she felt like she had to be, and the harder it became for her to start. Because starting meant it might not go according to plan. She could have one small slip, one forgotten step, one tiny misunderstanding. For her, mistakes were proof she wasn't good enough. Suddenly, perfection didn't feel perfect. She kept putting it off to avoid facing that fear. A fear that hadn't even happened yet, but one she already imagined in her mind. She waited. She told herself she would start tomorrow, or next week, or maybe when she felt more ready. But more ready never came. Until November, that's when she suddenly realized there was only 1 month left. And she had done almost nothing. So what did she do? She rushed, she stayed up late, she tried to force 5 months of preparation in 4 weeks. And of course, it wasn't perfect. It was messy, stressful, and far from the version of herself she had imagined. She had pictured herself in mind many times, preparing early, practicing step by step, and finally walking onto the stage feeling ready and confident. In that vision, everything was under control. But what actually happened was completely different. It was painful. Because at that moment, she didn't just feel like she lost the competition. She felt like she failed herself. What was really stopping her all along? The real reason is simple. It's not because she's lazy. It's not because she doesn't work hard. It was because Sally is a perfectionist. Now, some of you may be thinking, isn't being perfect a good thing? Getting a perfect score, delivering a flawless presentation, and seeing everything go exactly the way you planned. Shouldn't we all want that? But here's the problem. When perfect stops being a goal and starts becoming a requirement, it's letting the drive to be perfect take over, turning it into a rule instead of a guide. That's the perfect trap. It created a standard that's almost impossible to meet. It pushes people to control every detail. And surprisingly, it can lead to procrastination. Because the fear of doing something imperfect can stop people from starting. That's exactly what was happening to Sally. She had spent those 5 months waiting to feel perfectly ready. But it's just an illusion. This story isn't unique to Sally. It's something very familiar to me. And I believe that many of you in this room have faced it in your own life as well. The endless planning, the pressure, and the hesitation to start. Because we all want everything to be perfect before we even begin. I have fallen into the same trap. I believe that perfection was attainable, but it's something that doesn't actually exist. The world itself is not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Even the most intelligent and successful people. We only see their success, but rarely the countless mistakes and the efforts behind it. Even Albert Einstein's path was full of obstacles. He made numerous wrong hypotheses and faced many challenges. But it was exactly those missteps that guide him towards success, toward the idea that eventually shaped our world today. And beyond that, life is full of uncertainty. There will always be things beyond our control. A sudden rain, a late bus, a missed opportunity, or someone else's unpredictable decision. Even so, we still try to achieve perfection. We believe that if we stumble even once, we failed completely. It makes us forget something essential. Life is a series of imperfect moments. Every mistake is a lesson, a step forward. If we only focus on chasing perfection, we blind ourselves to the progress we've already made. We focus on what hasn't happened yet, rather than how far we've already come. We tied our worth to an impossible ideal, expecting everything, including ourselves, to be perfect in a world that obviously isn't. And in doing so, we trap ourselves in a cycle of waiting and delaying. Never starting because of fear it might go wrong. Overthinking every step because the need to get everything right. And doubting yourself because the belief that you are not good enough. But why should one small flaw have the power to erase all the efforts I've already made? What if a mistake isn't the proof that we failed, but the proof that we tried? What if imperfection isn't something to hide, but something that reveals how we learned and grow? What if second place isn't a loss, but a sign that we are one step closer to success? These ideas question the belief that we must be perfect. At that moment, it changes the way all of us see things. Imperfection becomes a necessary part in our life. Not as a flaw, not as a failure, but as the evidence we are learning, trying, and growing. Thank you.